Hello and welcome to this episode of Getting Familiar with Interface and how to create vendors in finance and operations. My name is Paresh and let's get started. So in this video, we are going to go through some basic navigation. We are also going to see how to create vendors in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations and also try to understand the demo data and Contoso companies. So let's go ahead. So here we are, what is called as the home page of Finance and Operations. All right. And from this home page, you can go to various modules and workspaces. Now, on your left-hand side, you can expand the navigation pane. And if you come out of it, you will see that it collapses again. So to keep it open, you can also pin this navigation pane. But there is one more method as well. So on your keyboard, you can use Alt F1 to open the navigation pane. If you press Alt F1 once again, it will pin the navigation pane. And if you click third time, then it will collapse the navigation pane. So you can either use your mouse or use various keyboard shortcuts to browse through your finance and operations pages. So if you go to this navigation pane, you will find certain sections like the home page. So if there are any forms or panes in your finance and operations area which you want to mark as favorites, those will be displayed over here. We'll see how that works in a short while. Now, when you keep browsing through your pages, the recent section will show you all the recent pages that you have been through. And you can also add to favorites. There's also an expandable section for workspaces like bank management, benefits, budget planning, where you can also go through your workspaces, which is available on your home page. Now, let's minimize this and look at the modules. So if I expand this modules section, all the different modules within finance and operations are available over here. For example, accounts and payables, where you will have vendors related information, purchase orders, and all the other relevant details. Similarly, you have accounts receivables, where you will have customer information, sales orders, or payments that are due from the customers, etc. So likewise, there are various other modules available in the system within the modules section in the navigation. So now let's click on accounts payable. Over here, you will notice that there are various forms within accounts payable. We have, for example, all vendors within the accounts payable. Now, sometimes you will also hear that vendors are referred to as suppliers. So if someone says suppliers or vendors, both are the same thing. Here you can also see all your purchase orders as well. Now, something that you would notice is whenever I go to a particular form, like all purchase orders or all vendors, there is a star button available over here. Now, if I click on this, it will add to my favorites list. All right. So for example, right now, you will see that there is nothing under my favorites. Okay. So if I go back again over here and mark all vendors as favorites, then this will be available under the favorites menu. Right now, how this is useful is, for example, when I do my day-to-day work, and if I visit certain forms quite often compared to all the other forms, then it's better that I mark them as favorites so that I can easily access from my favorite section instead of coming to the modules under the particular module and then search for those particular forms. Now, you will notice one more thing, that all these forms that you see over here are logically grouped under various sections. So for example, all the vendor related forms are grouped under vendor section. You can also collapse these sections and expand these sections. Similarly, all the purchase order related forms are under the purchase order sections. And similarly, for invoices related forms are grouped under invoice sections. Now, if you want to inquire or report on something, you will usually find those forms under inquiries and reports. Similarly, the configuration related items, you would usually find that under the setup section. So all of these are grouped under various sections logically so that it's easy for you to find certain forms. Now over here, you will also see two buttons where you can either collapse all the sections or you can expand all the sections as well. All right, so now let's just go ahead and see how we can create vendors. All right, so let's open all vendors. So under accounts payable, under vendor section, I'll click on all vendors, right? So this is one of the ways that you can open the forms where you will see a list of all the vendors that are available in your system. Now, usually if I have to go to all vendors, so if I'm on the home page, for example, I need to click on my navigation, I need to come onto the modules, I need to go into the accounts payable, and under vendors section, I need to click on all vendors, right? Similarly, for any other form, you might, within any other module, you might be doing the same steps. But there is an easy method as well. So many times you will not remember where the forms are placed, right? So in that case, for example, you're on your home page, then you can use this search bar and you can start typing some keywords. So for example, if you type vendor, or if you just start typing in any keyword, it will start giving you the options that are available based on that keyword, right? So the more refined your keyword is, the better results you might get. So over here, if I just type all vendors, I do not have to type all the thing, but you see that based on the keywords, it's starting to give me all the options. So over here, I see all vendors. Over here also, I see all vendors. But see below that, it will also give you under which module that particular vendors are, right? So it's under accounts payable vendors. Yes, this is what I want, and I can click on it. So it's much more easier to use the search bar feature to search for your forms. Okay, so now on this particular form, you can see a list of all the vendors that are available in the system, right? And on the top, you can see that there are various actions like edit, new, delete, and then there are various tabs available. Now, these are all logical groupings of various actions. For example, for each vendor, every vendor related action can be done over here. For example, you can add another vendor to a legal entity. You can add contacts for a selected vendor. There can be multiple contacts within a supplier, right? So you can do that, and so on and so forth. Similarly, there are logical actions available under procurement, under invoices, and under general and options. If I have to create a new vendor, I need to click on this new action. And here you will notice that a new record form has been opened where the identification, that is the vendor account number, has been automatically assigned. Now, based on certain organizational configuration, this can be automated. This can also be configured to be alphanumeric. Right now, it is just been configured to be numeric and in sequential manner. Or it can also be manual. That means the system does not generate that, but you can manually specify the vendor number that you want to specify. So there are different configurations that can be done, right? So we already have a vendor account number that is specified. And here I need to specify the name of the account that I want to create. Let's just see if if an account that I want to create is already existing in the system. So for example, if I start typing an account name, then the system, based on this keyword, will show all the accounts that match this particular keyword, right? So here it already shows that there is an account called ACME Office Supplies. So, I do not have to create a new one. I can basically use an existing account. So in this manner, we can also save duplication of records and also, make sure that our data consistency and data cleanliness is maintained within the system. But right now, let's just create a new account, which we'll type as the 365 Pros Enterprise. All right. Now, you will also notice that there are certain fields which are sort of normal, and then there are certain fields which are marked in red with asterisks, right? Now, this means that it's a mandatory field. Without specifying this field, you just cannot proceed further. So over here, it is asking to apply a group. This is a supplier that provides me services, so I can provide the group 20 over here, which is service vendors. All right. So all the service related vendors can be grouped under one. Similarly, there can be different groupings for part vendors, for other vendors, for tax authorities, so on and so forth. So I'll do that, and I will click on save to commit the changes. Now, once we have saved the record, you will see that the name of the vendor is populated in the title as well, right? That is the record title. So it is the vendor identification number with a colon and then the vendor name. right? Now, for this one particular vendor, which is now committed in, there are various other attributes that you can fill in, and those are logically defined under various tabs. Now, these tabs are also called as fast tabs, which you can expand and which you can collapse as well, right? So there are various other information that you would like to fill in for your vendors. The more information you have, the better reporting you have as well. So for example, you can specify how many number of employees does this particular supplier has. Let's say 1,000. And there is organization number. So for example, if there's a registration number for the organization, you can specify that. If you're working in Australia, for example, it can be the ABN number for that particular organization. And there are various other fields available that you can specify. Now, obviously, for this video, we cannot go through each and every field, but I will try to take you through some of the important sections. All right, so let's go ahead and specify the address for this particular vendor. So if you click and expand the address fast tab, so over here, you can add multiple addresses. So if I click on add here, it's going to open a quick view form where the location ID is already specified by the system. And we can provide a name for this particular address. For example, I can say this is head office. A vendor or a supplier can have various addresses, and there can be different purposes for it. So for example, it can have a business purpose. Some address can be used for delivery. Some addresses can be used for remittances as well. So you can select the role or the purpose as desired, and then you can specify the country. In this case, the country is USA, and the zip code information is available as the reference data. So for example, if you're working in Australia, then you need to make sure that all the zip codes are available as the reference data, because based on this selection, there are other fields that are automatically selected. So for example, if I just select a zip code over here, so here you will notice that the city, state, and county regions are selected automatically based on the zip code that you selected. Now, at least one address that you specify, you need to make that as a primary address, all right? And you can also specify if that is primary for that particular country or region, because a particular supplier can be available, let's say, in more than one country. So, and there can be various addresses available, but there needs to be at least one primary address. And as soon as you click on OK, that address will be saved and specified here. You can again either edit the particular address, or you can click on add to create multiple addresses. Now, once you have provided the address, you can go ahead and start providing the contact information as well. So there can be various contacts, some may be primary, some may be other contacts within a supplier as well. So you can click on add here and start creating the contact information. So for example, you can specify a primary contact here and specify how you would like to connect with that contact via phone or email or website URL or whatever, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. All right. So basically, let's just say I would like to contact this with email address and provide an email over here. Right. And if there was a landline number, I could have provided an extension. And if it's a primary contact, you can just check it over here so that this is the primary contact information. All right. And you can add multiple contact information in this particular fast tab. So if we proceed further, we can also see there are some miscellaneous details that we can specify here. So when you're registering a vendor or a supplier within your system, they might have a credit limit which they will provide. So for example, it can be 10,000, it can be 1 million, or whatever the credit limit is specified. So you can specify the credit limit over here. And based on certain configurations within the system, let's say if the credit limit has exceeded, the system will stop creating purchase orders, right? And going forward, we will try to see those examples as well. Similarly, you can specify various other attributes. So let's say if you go down, you can specify vendor profile. You can also specify purchasing demographics. So for example, you can specify the currency in which you want to deal with this particular supplier. So let's keep it US dollars, or you can select the currency of your choice as well. Now, one of the important information that you would like to add is under the payments fast tab. So basically, if you're engaging with this supplier, you would like to set up the terms of payment. So for example, here the terms of payment is selected as net 30. So what that means is when the supplier sends us the invoice, we have an agreement that we will pay the invoice within 30 days. Now going forward in other videos, we will definitely see how we can configure the terms of payment as well. So once you have specified all the important information for the vendor, again, do not forget to click on save, and this would commit the changes. Now with this, we have mostly covered the important fields that we would like to use. Obviously, there are many other fields that you would like to use, but this is just in a nutshell on how you can create a vendor record. So let's do a quick recap. If you have followed this video, then you can comfortably navigate to the modules and through the forms. You can search for a particular form that you're looking for. You should be able to navigate through the tabs, fast tabs, and various buttons. And you should know how to create a new record in Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. And as an example, you should now know how to create a new vendor record and add relevant information. With this, we conclude this video. So thanks for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, like and share.